Biology is the natural science that studies life and living organisms, including their physical structure, chemical processes, molecular interactions, physiological mechanisms, development, and evolution. Despite the complexity of the science, certain unifying concepts consolidate it into a single coherent field. Biology recognizes the cell as the basic unit of life, genes as the basic unit of heredity, and evolution as the engine that propels the creation and extinction of species. Living organisms are open systems that survive by transforming energy and decreasing their local entropy to maintain a stable and vital condition defined as homeostasis. Subdisciplines of biology are defined by the research methods employed and the kind of system studied. Theoretical biology uses mathematical methods to formulate quantitative models, while experimental biology performs empirical experiments to test the validity of proposed theories and understand the mechanisms underlying life and how it appeared and evolved from non-living matter about 4 billion years ago through a gradual increase in the complexity of the system. Biologists are able to study life at multiple levels of organization, from the molecular biology of a cell to the anatomy and physiology of plants and animals and the evolution of populations. Hence, there are multiple subdisciplines within biology, each defined by the nature of their research questions and the tools that they use. Like other scientists, biologists use the scientific method to make observations, pose questions, generate hypotheses, perform experiments, and form conclusions about the world around them. Life on Earth, which emerged more than 3.7 billion years ago, is immensely diverse. Biologists have sought to study and classify the various forms of life, from prokaryotic organisms such as archaea and bacteria to eukaryotic organisms such as protists, fungi, plants, and animals. These various organisms contribute to the biodiversity of an ecosystem, where they play specialized roles in the cycling of nutrients and energy through their biophysical environment. Etymology. Biology derives from the ancient Greek words of bio, romanized bios, meaning life, and logia, meaning branch of study or to speak. Those combined make the Greek word biologia, meaning biology. Despite this, the term biologia as a whole did not exist in ancient Greek. The first to borrow it was the English and French biology. Historically, there was another term for biology in English before life lore. It is rarely used today. The Latin language form of the term first appeared in 1736 when Swedish scientist Carl Linnaeus used biology in his Bibliotheca Botanica. History. The earliest of roots of science, which included medicine, can be traced to ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia in around 3000 to 1200 BCE. Their contributions later entered and shaped Greek natural philosophy of classical antiquity. Ancient Greek philosophers such as Aristotle 384 to 322 BCE, contributed extensively to the development of biological knowledge. His works, such as History of Animals, were especially important because they revealed his naturalist leanings, and later more empirical works that focused on biological causation and the diversity of life. His successor, Theophrastus, began the scientific study of plants. Scholars of the medieval Islamic world who wrote on biology included Al-Jahiz (781 to 869), Al-Dinavari (828 through 896), who wrote on botany, and Rhazes (865 to 925), who wrote on anatomy and physiology. Medicine was especially well studied by Islamic scholars working in Greek philosopher traditions, while natural history drew heavily on Aristotelian thought. Biology began to quickly develop with Anton van Leeuwenhoek's dramatic improvement of the microscope. It was then that scholars discovered spermatozoa, bacteria, infusoria, and the diversity of microscopic life. Investigations by Jan Swammerdam led to the new interest in entomology and helped to develop techniques of microscopic dissection and staining. Advances in microscopy had a profound impact on biological thinking. In the early 19th century, biologists pointed to the essential importance of the cell. In 1838, Schleiden and Schwann began promoting the now universal ideas that number 1, the basic unit of organisms is the cell, and number 2, that individual cells have all the characteristics of life, although they opposed the idea that 3, all cells come from the division of other cells, continuing to support spontaneous generation. However, Robert Remarque and Rudolf Virchow were able to reify the third tenet, and by the 1860s, most biologists accepted all 3 tenets, which consolidated into cell theory. Meanwhile, taxonomy and classification became the focus of natural historians. Carl Linnaeus published the basic taxonomy for the natural world in 1735, and in the 1750s introduced scientific names for all his species. Georges Louis Leclerc, Comte de Buffon, treated species as artificial categories and living forms of malleable, even suggesting the possibility of common descent.